Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Brew Room Live Chat Series, episode number 4. This is Preeta Nagarajan, admin of Wonder Moms, and I hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. In the past 3 episodes, we've been talking about understanding our mind, coping with our emotions, and also a lot about self love. Today, we are moving on to a very concerning topic for most of us parents, particularly if your kids are between 3 to 6 years. What can I say? We are the confused lot, especially because we are too aware of certain terminologies used in our child's developmental phase. We get paranoid and end up in a lot of doubt. As a result, we fail to understand our little ones and we're not sure about how to help them. Today, we have with us Dr. V.S. Gayathri, founder of Flourishing Kids, a counselor and an educational therapist. She believes that every kid is unique and has the potential to make history, and all it takes is a thoughtful effort to unblock them and realize their potential. She's here to help us seek answers for our concerning questions and to understand our little superheroes. Ladies, if you're watching this, please leave your questions in the comments. Now, let's welcome Dr. V.S. Gayatri on board. Hello, Dr.
Hi.
Gayathri.
Hi, Peter.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. And thank you for being on our live chat series today because it's a very one of the most important topics like we've been discussing of late, about children on our forum right now. So how has the lockdown been treating you?
Yeah, fine. Still, I'm also having some challenges at home, but it's
Okay.
overall good.
Okay.
Able to focus more. Yeah, thank
That's
you.
great. Okay.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
learned that you are a dentist. So how come this transformation from being a dentist to a psychologist? Like how did the change happen? How did you end up here?
Yeah. I'm Dr. Gayathri. I'm a mom. I'm also an educational therapist now. I'm a dentist. My mom is a psychology graduate. So I got
Okay.
that interest from the very beginning about psychology. I was more interested. Once I started with my clinicals from my third year in my dentistry, I was more curious why some people react in this way at some times. So I wanted to know more about people, and I did my counseling and psychotherapy as soon as I finished my dentistry. So it
Okay.
was like I was more intrigued about what people think in their minds. Yeah. So
Okay.
that
So
was
you
it.
were more
From
worried about people's reactions, wanted to understand what's the reason behind the reaction.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's
yeah.
nice.
Uh,
So
so
yeah.
after that, yeah. So I kind of continued with my clinicals. Then I had my motherhood. I took a small break. I was more with my child and got to know more about children and their psychology. Then my child is in Montessori, so learned more about Montessori methods over there.
Okay.
He's still in elementary Montessori. Yeah, that's
Okay.
how I got interested into this children's
Oh,
psychology.
that's nice.
Yeah.
So, as your profession as a psychologist, as a therapist, what kind of
Yeah.
children are you dealing with? What are the challenges children are facing these days? What are the most common challenges you are seeing?
Yeah. Most commonly, we see like kids having first one is like speech issues. Many parents come to me, they have some speech issue. It's not
Okay.
only the stuttering what we usually note, but
Okay.
sometimes the kid cannot say few words. The kid
Okay.
might be 6 years old, but still only the parents can decode what the
Okay.
kid is saying. So that is the
Okay.
first issue with which a
Okay.
parent comes to me. Then we can see developmental disorders.
Okay.
Sometimes they have delay in their fine motor skills, gross motor skills, then the visual perception issues. And next category is the learning disorders.
Okay.
They have some learning challenges, and that is my
Okay.
niche where
Okay.
parents approach me. Yeah.
Okay. When you say learning disorders, learning challenges, like are both the same, or is there a vast difference between a learning disorder and a learning difficulty?
Yeah. Learning disorder is the term we use in our psychology field, in our
Okay.
counseling field. But when
Okay.
it comes to parents, it's a learning challenge. The kids
Okay.
have a learning challenge. Unless and until it is diagnosed, the kid doesn't have a learning disorder. It can be diagnosed only by a clinical psychologist. But the point we can intervene before in the first stage When the kid is around 6 years itself, we can know what are the symptoms and how can we intervene at that time and then proceed with the kid. So that is how the learning challenge term comes here. It's not
Okay.
only the popularly heard term dyslexia. There are many
Okay.
other learning disorders.
Okay.
Main popular thing is dyslexia. It is like an umbrella term used for all learning disorders together. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So when you said like 6 years, right? Like,
Yes.
is it okay for parents to wait and watch till the kid is 6 years to see if they really have a challenge over there? Like, how long does it actually take for the kid to develop him or herself in his academic fundamentals?
6 years is the basic criteria, because the
Okay,
kid might enter the play group or pre-kg around from 2.5 years to 3.5 years, but
correct.
at the end of 6 years they should have developed some skills. Those are the skills
Okay.
we mean, like those skills have to be there, then only the kid can proceed to the primary school.
Can you name those
So
skills? What kind of skills like is necessary for a 6-year-old to have?
yeah. First is the physical skills. We
Okay.
everyone know it. The kid has to catch a ball. They have to
Mm.
catch a ball and throw it over
Okay.
the head. They have to throw it over the head.
Hand
Then they have
coordinate.
to, yeah, hand-eye coordination. It's a very huge task for a kid. Maybe
Okay.
we find it like it's a ball and they are just throwing, but you have to aim and throw to the opposite person. So it's a huge task for the kid. They
Okay.
have to hop on one feet because it involves a lot of coordination again. Use one hand predominantly, because kids interchangeably use left and right hand. But
Yes.
by the age of 6, kids will start using one. Either it can be right or left. I'm not asking to change or anything, but the kids should start using one hand as a predominant hand. They
Okay.
will learn it. They will learn it by using materials, everything. They have to
Okay.
use basic utensils, like at home means spoon, fork. They should know to
Okay.
carry a small plate. Those are all
Mm-hmm.
like the physical signs we have to look out for. If the kid
Mm-hmm.
can hold basic small things, which according to their age, not a bigger
Okay.
thing, they have to hold it by themselves and they should not drop it and get it to their place. So these are like physical skills which we have to see it. Next is the cognitive skills. Cognitive
Okay.
skills, they have to understand. If you're telling a story, they have to understand what is the main point of the story. They should grasp it. They should understand there is some key point and the story revolves around that. They should be at least able to grasp 1 or 2 points of the story. They should know the sounds of alphabets, letters. They should know at least the sounds. It's like apple is a, or they should know at least which sound gives this which word. They should know the sounds mainly. They should know their name. Kids like they have to say their name, their family members, at least the close ones which they are in contact with, whom they are meeting over in the school, basic relationships. They should know everything. Then comes the language skills. Language skill is where they have to use small sentences. They have to talk. They have to argue. They should know how to argue. Once
How
you
to
know
get into
language,
a
yeah,
conversation?
yeah,
Okay.
conversation. That is the main thing.
Okay.
They should know like to use because or why I am doing this. They have to understand those issues. They have to tell small stories. Usually the kids tell their own stories, their
So
own
moms
bedtime
can
stories.
actually engage the kids in a conversation by generally asking how was their day or what did they do
Yes,
with their. Yes, it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
important for moms to engage with the kids in a conversation. Like ask them, like talk to them. Sometimes when we are like carried away with work, we forget to
Okay.
converse with our kid. Actually, yes, yeah. Please
Yes.
carry on. Yeah.
Yeah. So if suppose the kid is playing with some ball, you can just have a conversation. Wow, this ball you're playing it is soft ball. Maybe it is yellow in color or something according to their age. You have to communicate with the kid with their. You have to focus their attention and talk with them. Then they have to follow simple directions. At least
Following that.
two-step directions they should know. They should know at least you have to go to your room, you have to open the rack, you have to take your book. This is a three-step instruction. They should
Okay.
understand. Because they are six
Okay.
years old, they have to understand the instructions in a sequence. So that is one important thing. Next is the social and emotional issues.
Yes.
This is like they should have the milestone. They should know that they have to get the approval from their parents or from the teacher. If they are at school, they should know that if they have to leave from the place, they should ask the ma'am. Those are all like
Okay.
simple issues. They understand the rules. They understand
Correct.
what is happening in the society as such. So those small, simple things, they will start following rules at that age. Then
Correct.
they will understand like sharing with friends, and they start saying,
Social
right,
behavior.
she's my
Okay.
best friend. They have to
Okay.
understand. They have to have a small group of their own. So these are
Correct.
all the things which we have to see at the 6 years. I mean, like UKG. Around the end of the UKG, the kid should have developed all these skills by this age. That is the
Okay.
factor like we see. Yeah,
Correct. So,
yeah,
mommy, she right now, whatever she mentioned is what we have to look for the symptoms. How do we know if a child has a problem? Like only by 6 years. Don't be in a hurry if your child does not do any of these things when he's 3 years old or 4 years old. They still have time. So up till until when the kid is 6 years old, you have nothing to worry. So please give them time and don't try to pressurize it. So, like, we've been asking a lot of questions on the forum, doctor.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
of late, these are the common things that the moms were concerned about. A child's writing, challenges in writing. My
yeah,
son is
yeah.
finding it very difficult to write. As long as I hold his hand and write, he's okay, he's confident. But the minute I leave his hand, he thinks he cannot do it, and he's overwhelmed with emotion. He starts crying. They think they can't do it. So how do they handle this scenario with the kid?
Uh, First point is that
Like,
age. We can wait. Okay. Before writing, actually, the writing, what we think like writing with a pencil or a pen. Before that, there are some pre-writing skills. We have to focus on pre-writing skills for the kid. So writing is one aspect, and we can wait till 5.5 years. My
I
kids started
understand.
writing only in the they can wait. My kids started writing only in the UKG. UKG almost like half in the second term of UKG. It's like the fact with my own kid. He's in Montessori environment, and so he started writing very slowly, but they'll pick up. They'll pick up eventually. See, if a kid takes like 9 months and proceeds to writing in one sentence, the other kid might take only 2 months because they already have developed all those skills, and so they can write it fluently. So you can wait. You can wait for writing skills, but try to develop those pre-writing skills. Pre-writing skills is like fine motor skills. You have to
Okay.
develop. The kid should develop those fine motor skills. The simple thing is that we can give them play doh at home. We can ask them to grate without any sharp things. Okay, we can ask them to grate some things. We
Okay.
can ask them to put beads in the lace. Those are all like
Okay.
fine motor skills. The normal clips, we can ask them to pick it up with their pincer grip. This is called the
Okay.
pincer grip, and they pick it like this. It's a very good fine motor skill activity. These are all like pre-writing skills. Scissors, they can use scissors. They can cut with the scissors. So they can
Papers.
waste them.
Okay. This like
Yeah, they can cut.
increases the strength in their fingers to actually
Yes,
help them grip,
yes,
increase the grip of their pencils. Okay.
increasingly. Yeah,
Okay.
then
So,
then you can slow down.
is there any
Yeah.
particular way a child should hold the pencil?
They should develop the tripod grip. The kid should
Okay.
develop, but
Okay.
the tripod grip doesn't come around in the 3 years itself. Their grip will be
Okay.
like whole grip. They will be holding the whole crayon like this. It's the ball
Okay.
crayon or a big crayons. They will be holding like this, and then only
Okay.
gradually you can move to this grip, tripod grip.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if the kid is having the same grip, if the grip is not correct grip, after
Okay.
6 years, then we
Uh-huh.
have to correct it. We have to correct it.
Is there any
Yeah,
particular pencil or crayon that
yeah,
comes to it with a grip?
yeah. There are specific things called pencil grasps. You can just
Okay.
insert it to a normal pencil
In the pencil,
so that
I
the
think.
kid can hold properly only. Yeah, they have to hold
Okay.
like this. They'll hold it
Okay.
correctly. Or else, if you're working with small kids at home, you can just put a rubber band around your pen or pencil at that correct spot, there,
Okay.
wherever
Okay.
you want it, so that the kid
Okay.
can hold at the rubber band. It's like a check for them. You have to hold it here because sometimes
Correct.
kid holds very far away, or sometimes kids will hold like this, very nearby. So it differs. So you can put a rubber band and teach them properly. But before teaching, as I said, if you start developing the pre-writing skills, the kid will automatically know how to hold the pencil and how much pressure they should give on the paper. Some kids we
Okay.
have seen, they use their whole pressure and do it, because
That's right. That's
we
right.
have started them very early. We have started giving
Correct.
pencil very early
Too
for
much
them.
pressure on
Yeah,
them. Correct.
yeah,
So, what is the
yes,
right
yeah.
age to give the pencil actually?
You can start around 5 years
School start,
if you're giving
school
a normal
5 years,
pencil.
but the school start giving the pencils in their hands like 2 years itself. Like they say they are
Please
supposed to
don't
write.
start. No, please, as such, if possible, at least stop till LKG, because I've
Okay.
seen many pre-KG kids writing the whole words. They
Yes.
write it.
Okay.
But, if you are
Sometimes
starting
the
it
parents
early,
are in a hurry to let their kids learn everything as soon as possible. By the time they enter LKG, they want their kids to know full words. Actually, I don't know. Like, but some kids are smart, but then it puts a lot of pressure on the other kids who are actually having difficulties. So, talking about this, yeah, tell me.
So yeah, this is like, obviously I have also seen many parents saying that my kid has started writing from 3 years, but still he's in 7 years now. He's in like first standard. He still doesn't. His grip is not clear, or his handwriting is not legitimate, because
Correct.
you have given the kid a very this skill before actually his own age, where he should start. You can start
Okay.
giving a bigger pencil or bigger crayons first, then slowly introduce them to the pencils. So you
Pencil.
can wait, at least wait till 4.5 years, till
Correct.
the kid actually enters the LKG,
Pencil.
then start giving them pencils. You can ask them
Okay.
to write on a sandpaper tracing, or
And
make something on a salt or a sand at home, and ask them to trace over it, so that they know
pencil.
this letter comes over
Okay.
like this. Yeah. So those are
Okay.
all the pre-writing skills, and we have to wait. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So when
Yes.
I'm talking about the age, right, 4.5, when we
Mm.
enroll or register a kid to start school, there's a age cutoff in each school, and just not to miss the age cutoff, we sometimes end up putting the kids quite early in school. But what
Yeah.
happens is they experience a lot of peer pressure. They are not able to cope up with the academics, and then in return, it's quite stressful on the parents. They get very paranoid about something's wrong. They think there's something's wrong with their kid, but the rest of the kids are able to do it. My child is not able to recognize the alphabets. He's confused about numbers and thing. Is something wrong with him? Like all these questions, we get very confused. And some also at this point, there's a false positive diagnosis of a kid being dyslexic, and that they
Yes.
have to be pulled on to a special school or something. How right or wrong is this? What should the parents exactly be doing at this point?
uh, yeah, this is like a very valid point to be mentioned, because parents usually they get paranoid because they think like that, maybe most of the time we moms actually, we think that it's we take it on our guilt. We didn't
Yes.
teach the kid. Maybe I should have given a pencil from 2.5 years when he was at home, when they were playing. Actually, they would be playing around. They would be playing with the vessels and toys and everything. But we think that maybe we should have asked them to sit and write at that age itself. So
Hmm.
each kid develops little differently, and so we can wait. Sometimes the false diagnosis is like,
This
if we
happens
push
from
the
the school's end. This happens from the school's end, doctor. The false diagnosis happening, when we are called the teacher for
yes.
reviews by the from the school and teacher. The teacher says, he's still not doing this. He's not still not doing that. He's lagging behind in his academics. Then obviously the parents get very stressed out. They worry a lot about not knowing what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, like we can give early intervention, but there are few measures and few things which we have to check out. If the kid actually requires early intervention, or the kid is in the phase of catching up things, we have to wait at least 6 months after we give instructions specifically to the child for
Okay.
whichever issue we are dealing with. 6 months we have to wait. Then only we
Correct.
can go for a proper diagnosis for the kid.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's the main thing. We can wait. The pressure is from school, and sometimes like parents, we see other kids, the next home kids. They start writing around LKG, and you are in first standard. You still don't write. So there is
Correct.
always that comparison. That
Correct.
comparison always comes over, because
That's
you
very
start
nice.
comparing. You think, yeah, you think that your kid is still lacking in some skills. So we can wait. But if there are like some red flags, we have to see. Those red flags are like cautions. Those red flags also, please don't see in isolation. Most of the time parents sees just one thing, and they finalize, okay, if it is like to say now, if I'm having a mild fever, I can think that next week I will be hospitalized because the pandemic is around me. It's the same
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. We just see one issue. If the kid doesn't write today, or like probably just 1 week the kid is not writing, just don't see the skill, just don't see only writing, see around every aspect and then go to a diagnosis.
What are the red flags we are
Sports,
looking for before we go for evaluation if the child
yeah.
actually has a problem?
Yes. For red flags, especially for learning challenges, in the
Yes.
pre-primary stage, for that stage, if the kid cannot appreciate the rhyme, if you're singing Jack and Jill went up to the hill, they should at least know Jill, hill. They both sound the same. Those are
Okay.
like skills the child should develop. They'll start singing. They'll start singing along with the mom or at the school in their school group times, circle times. They'll start singing. But some kids don't understand the concept. They can't understand that there is some rhyming aspect over to it. That is a key
Okay.
point for young kids, very small kids. They have difficulty in naming the familiar objects. Sometimes they know this is a sofa, this is a water bottle. They know it
Okay.
because it's their water bottle. But if you ask them suddenly, they don't know what is it. Or that occurs repeatedly, not in one instance. It occurs
Okay.
repeatedly for the things which already they know. They know this is a pencil. But if you ask them, they
Remembering
don't know what
names.
is
That
it.
is basically
Yeah, they
remembering names
don't
is the problem.
remembering names of familiar things. That is the most
Things.
important
Okay.
thing. So if it's a new name, it takes some time. The kid has to learn a new word. But if it's a familiar one, if still the kid is having some trouble, we have to look on it. Then, as I mentioned, they have to follow sequence of instructions. If it is like for a 4-year-old kid, you expect to follow 2 instructions, 1 and 2. There should be 2-step instruction, and the kid should understand because the kid should remember the first one, and only then she or he can proceed to the second one.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that is one important key point. Then they have difficulty with the time and space. They don't know how much time has elapsed. They don't know actually. Kids actually doesn't know the proper timings. Maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but they know it is morning, it is afternoon time, it's my nap time, night is sleep time. Everyone sleeps, but these kids have difficulty orienting themselves. Sometimes the
Okay.
difficulty in space. They will wear their bag. They don't know. They'll move around like this, and they'll hit on the other person. If that
Oh.
occurs repeatedly, usually the other friends will say, I don't want to sit with him because he hits with his hand. He always hits with his hand. He bumps over me. If it is occurring repeatedly, then those are all signs.
So these are
These
the
are all
signs
like
you're looking for
pre-primary.
for a 4-year-old, time conscious and space
Yeah.
conscious. Okay.
Yeah, for if the kid is already in school and they are into 1 year of education, then we can take care of these things. Because
Okay.
sometimes the kid is directly entering LKG. They don't know how to actually mingle with the group. That
Okay.
might be a different situation because it's a new group, and so the kid is actually accustoming. But if the kid is
Okay.
already into the proper education for 1 year and still they are having issues like this,
All
these
right.
are all
Okay.
like
So what should we do if we identify the kid is facing any of these problems? Like you said, the pre-primary red flags,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. What should be done?
These are like we gradually note it. Like I said, we have to see around for 6 months. Around this time, you will actually start with the language introduction also, because the kid is around 5 years and already they would have started with their language skills. We have to check out on the language skills. Language skills, usually these kids have confusion between the letters, visual confusion. They see the
Yes.
letters as same. Yeah.
Okay.
They
This
see the
is this
letters. Yeah.
includes identification of alphabets and numbers. Some kids are not able to differentiate between what's a number and an alphabet, or they're confused about identifying an alphabet.
Yeah. One more thing, what I have to mention over here is we see many kids having confusion between B and D.
Yes.
Same thing,
Mirror
the
image.
number 3, yeah, mirror imaging. 3 would be written like opposite. They will write it
Yes.
in reverse. This is common till six and a
Comment.
half years.
Okay.
This is actually okay because our brain is like that. We
Okay.
actually use the left brain for linear processing and right brain is for whole processing. So our
Okay.
brain, we tune our brain. Education makes us to think in a linear pattern.
Okay.
So we start thinking then only after 6.5 years, if the kid is still having these issues, with the mirror imaging, what I meant for mirror imaging, after that only it is a problem for a kid, that mirror imaging.
Okay. Okay.
For small kids around 5 years, they will keep adding letters to the words. If you say
Mm-hmm.
one word, it's like you say fet or something, they will say fetch, feck or something. They'll kind of change because they didn't hear the last sound. The last
Okay.
sound is different for them. It is like
Mm-hmm.
phonological processing component. They have that
Okay.
awareness is difficult. That is the main issue we have to note. They have
Okay.
difficulty even if the phonics is being taught over at school also. They have
Hmm.
that difficulty with the phonological awareness concepts.
Okay.
So those are like red flags we have to note whether the kid is having language issues,
Okay.
learning issues, especially.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you say phonics, right? Like not all kids are comfortable learning it the phonics way. Some kids, there are different learning techniques. Some kids just don't understand phonics. They are very comfortable with picture memory or rote learning or so. How do we know what is best for the kid? How do what learning technique actually best suits the kids?
Yeah, actually, there are four type of learners: visual, auditory,
Okay.
kinesthetic, and tactile. This is like four learning styles, and
Okay.
our kid usually fits into more than one style. There will be one
Okay.
predominant style and another style along with it. For the visual learners, they want to see everything on board or on a
Good.
big chart. They see it, they grasp it immediately. If you show them
Correct.
on a bigger form, if the small apple is shown in the bigger form, bigger font, they will remember. If it is like a
Okay.
visual stimulus, then they will receive it more. For the auditory kids, you have to repeat. They like you to read books. They will always ask, if you are reading, they will listen to 2, 3, 4 books also because they perceive it from the auditory stimulus. For some kids, it is like kinesthetic. They want to run around, they want to move around, they want to jump. Everything is for them is like jumping or in action mode. They want everything.
Okay.
If you say like 5 plus 2, you ask them to jump for 5 times plus 2 times jump, they will be happy.
My God.
They'll jump, they'll find the answer because they have so much energy and they like to jump around like that. Tactile is
Okay.
like they want to touch and see. They want to touch
Okay.
everything. There will be
Okay.
small kids, even around the 2.5 years also, they want to touch. They will see slightly, they will touch and see whether it is okay. Can we eat it? Can we taste it? They will touch and only then
Yes.
do it. So they are like
Okay.
tactile learners. So these are the four broad learning styles. And
Yeah.
as the kid starts progressing in learning and language, we'll start understanding whichever the kid is like okay, which is the predominant style.
So I saying
Yeah.
like all the methods should be tried on a kid to see which one they like.
It's like if the kid is having any learning challenge, we usually prefer multisensory methods that
Okay.
involves all together. So that is the
Okay.
same type. For our own kid, yeah, you can start knowing. If you start noting it down for the period of 10 days or 15 days, you will start understanding which is the predominant style for your kid. Because as a
Okay.
mother, we know it. We know that our kid knows this way. If you say
So
the
it's all
story,
by trial and error method to see what works best for a
yeah,
kid.
yeah, what works best for it, especially the age group. If the kid is
Uh-huh.
like 6 years or 7 years, it's like mostly we are seeing them at our home and we know that what our kid actually likes it. If still there are issues along with like as I said for the pre-primary, there are some more red flags for the primary stage. If
Okay.
there are those red flags, then it is a concern and we have to see it whether it is to be addressed immediately. We can't
Okay.
keep waiting so long. Like
Mm-hmm.
the academic gap actually keeps on widening. The learning gap for the
Correct.
kid keeps widening. So we have to address it. If the kid is
So
around 7 years,
hmm.
it is to be addressed. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So, okay, the kid is 7 years, and like, finally we have learned that the kid is facing a real problem with learning. So, what happens? What is the next step to be taken? Like, should the kid be really pulled out or to a different special school? Is a normal school environment suitable for the kid? Will he be able to cope up in that environment? Like, will he
okay.
get in at what class will they be in par with other kids? How long is this issue going to last?
Yeah. Most of the times, the kid having learning challenge, there is no issue with IQ level. We have to note
Okay.
that down because the kid is very smart. The kid is smart in all other aspects, and only if there is a learning challenge, they can continue in the regular traditional schools. They just
Okay.
sometimes need pull-out classes. They need a
Pull out.
separate classes, remediation for them, because
Correct.
they need a different teaching style, and so the kid can learn much better. And it takes time. It takes time. It differs from each kid. We can't say like it only takes 1 year for the kid to get back into the normal academics. It will take time. It depends on at which age the kid has started getting intervention. If the kid has started getting intervention correctly at 7 years, and it also depends on the medium in which they are in. I mean, like
Okay.
CBSE, Montessori, or ICSE, IB. There are many various mediums now, so it depends on it. So they require some pull-out classes. After that, also there are some strategies we teach those kids so that they can cope with themselves. They know how to plan accordingly, and then they can proceed in their life. Yeah. So
Okay.
that is like strategies. Yeah.
So will this affect them when they move on to higher classes or college, like the learning challenges? Will this affect them?
Yeah, the learning challenges, it's like it is like continuous. There is no
Okay.
like this one is like stopped or anything. It is continuous, but the kids learn it. Our main thing is to make them realize their own strengths. Like
Okay.
if it is an older kid, we teach them in a different way. We won't be
Okay.
again teaching them the normal phonics or cat, rat in the sixth standard student. For a sixth standard
Correct.
student, we'll be teaching in their own techniques, and we teach them how they have to do and they have to proceed. It is
Concepts.
continuous.
It's more important for them to learn concepts.
Yeah, they have to learn concepts. There are many things. The subjects keep becoming more and increasing.
Yes.
It is complicated also sometimes, so we have to teach them how to proceed with it. They will start realizing their own strengths by that time, because we'll be handling them for 3 to 4 years by that time, so they know,
Correct.
they understand. They will start taking some extra time, or if they have to write notes, or they know how to take down their notes and proceed in classroom situations, everything. There are
Correct.
many people who have learning challenges and they have succeeded in their life, and
Okay.
it's a issue that parents have to understand, teachers have to understand. That's it.
That's right.
That's the main
So,
thing.
like at what age can we start encouraging reading for kids? How do we encourage reading, first of all? And I know reading, we reading, not about we reading for kids, the kids
Yes.
starting reading by themselves.
We can start them with independent reading. That's what we say, like kids have to start reading by themselves. First, reading is like, as I said, like pre-writing skills, there are some pre-reading skills. There are some
Okay.
skills for the kid to start understanding. First, before starting reading, we have to give them like auditory activities. We have to start telling them auditory activities. I can give a small example. We say Simon says. Simon says,
Simon says,
catch the bird.
exactly.
Yeah, Simon. That is like very classic one. It is like for the auditory stimulus. We don't see in that way, but it is like Simon says, get up. Simon says, sit down. So this
Okay.
kid starts listening. If there is some instruction, we have to do it. It is similar way. We are reading, there are some letters together and they have to be strung together so that it makes a word.
Okay.
So like for the small kid, the same thing, we have to start teaching them the phonological awareness concept. It is a concept like if you're teaching a word, it is small example, cat. We have to teach, can you say any word starting with k? Sound. Or else you can keep their favorite toy. If it is a teddy bear, you can say, do you think it is starting with t, t, t? The kid will say, teddy bear. Because
Okay.
the kid knows. You have to start incorporating these techniques into the normal environment. So
Okay. So
that
these
is
are
the
all
first stage. Yeah,
pre-reading
this
skills.
is, yes, these are the pre-reading skills. Then only you
Okay.
can start with the independent reading. While you are starting with independent reading, you can start once the kid starts identifying the letters. Identifies this sound is to this letter. While starting with it, you can start with books like you can obviously start with the graded books, which are easy. For
Okay.
independent reading books, the books comes with a basic like, yeah,
Can you
yeah, please.
recommend a few books for first time readers?
Yeah, the Ladybird books are awesome. You can start with them. Then the Dr.
Okay.
Seuss books. Dr. Seuss is
Okay.
like Those books are awesome. For independent reading also, the kid will know when to start. Those are all like, we say like decodable words. The words can be decoded. Cat, if the kid knows k, at, the kid can read the word cat. So these are all called decodable books. We can start giving them decodable books because the kid will have if anytime we are giving any activity to a kid, they should feel a small success in them.
Correct.
Yeah, they should feel like, yes, I read this paper. You can't give them a higher book and say you didn't read anything. The kid should know what they are reading. 95% of the words in the page should be identified by the kid. Then only you can give that book to the kid.
Okay.
If you find it is like little tougher, don't give that book.
Okay.
You can't push the kid. Yeah.
Yes, we spoke about skills, writing and reading, making them do activities. Now, coming to the most pressing concern of all the moms right now is like, the kids are forced to have online classes during this pandemic times. And like, it's becoming a huge struggle to make them sit in one place. They're just not able to pay attention to the class. Is it fair on us to keep shouting at them to pay attention, or like are they not able to pay? Because otherwise they are like fully glued into their gadgets, watching YouTube videos all the time. They are able to pay attention to that. So I don't think it's the screen. But when it comes to the teacher on the screen, and when it actual classes, they are not able to pay attention or sit in one place. So this is a big struggle, for like making them do activities one side. How do we make them sit in one place and do that activity? So what do we do?
Yeah. Yes. This is one of the main issue, at least now from the past 3 months, it is like becoming very difficult for parents because we parents started taking the role of teacher. We are not trained for this. We started no, you have to finish this homework because we have to submit it. Most of the times we only copy it or we take the photos and send to the school. So it is like on our side. So it is not fair on us to push small kids to sit on the online classes because for them school is different. It's not only the learning. For them it's like friends. Yeah, it's a social place. They want the friends they want them to interact with them. They want to play with them. They just don't want to see with them and say hi, bye. They don't like it. They don't like it that way. They are not others.
Let it go. Like how do parents deal with this? Like when the kids are not able to pay attention.
See, I'll say like that's okay. They are small kids. It's okay if they're not listening once in a while. If they listen, it's okay. Or it's okay if it's an online class. If there is a possibility, make them stand up for some time. Stand up and sit for something. Because at least they get a relaxation. They can just stand up. They can just move their hands. Then they can sit up. They will start concentrating. And if it is a class and you already get a timetable or something, you can say today your ma'am is going to teach about rivers. So the kid knows what he or she has to hear.
What to expect.
I think that's okay. Yeah, what to expect. You don't know what to expect. You're just sitting and the teacher is continuing their class for half an hour. It is not fair enough. We can't expect a second standard or third standard kid to sit in front of a laptop. They are not ready to attend classes over this way. So
while they have no issues sitting in front of YouTube, they have a lot of issues with the classes actually.
Yeah. One more thing with the YouTube is that I have been asked by many parents, so I'm just referring here also. Yes. If you're watching YouTube or playing some video games, our kid sits like for 2 hours, they continuously sit and they play video games. There is one neurotransmitter called dopamine that secretes in our human brain. It is like happy hormone.
Correct.
It secretes when you see some videos. It is like instant gratification.
It's stimulating.
You see it and it is stimulating and you get the happy hormone immediately. You get it. And one thing with the video games is that video games, if you see the video game, it is always in levels. Okay. The kid has to clear the first level, then it will go to second level. There is a sense of achievement for them. That is the most important thing why they like video games. They like video games. It is not like an exam after 6 months and you have to read from now. No, it's not that way.
We can see in online classes when the teacher is not calling out the child's name, the child gets frustrated and interest in the class actually. Yes. So I can relate to that.
Yeah, okay. We can wait. This new normal may be okay for us, but not for kids. Let them take their time. Just maybe after 3 years, if you are thinking on this, you will say, at least I'm happy my kid crossed this stage. Yeah, you will not remember they didn't sit in the online class for 10 minutes. You won't remember the situation itself. After 3 years, you will be happy that, okay, my kid is happy now, and you won't remember, or kid won't remember, teacher won't remember. So
Okay.
don't worry. That's okay. That's okay. This is like okay for the online classes. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is this online classes are happening? We're having some questions from parents were like, children are facing a bout of emotions. They are so overwhelmed. Actually, they end up crying.
Yeah.
How do we deal with the emotions of kids? Like, once they know they can't do something or they don't want to do something, they end up crying. Like crying seems to be their most common way of expressing
Yes,
what they
excess.
feel. Yes.
Yeah. First thing is that crying, it's actually okay to cry. Like for kids or for adults, it's okay to cry, and it is their way of expressing us. Many kids don't cry and they end up having those issues in themselves. At least our
Yeah.
kid is crying it out. They are saying
Okay.
something. Main thing is that for them, everything is like they express it through tears. We have to teach them emotional vocabulary. We have to teach them. It is like
Mm-hmm.
you say them, you're angry because your friend didn't come for playing. You're expressing it out. You're telling the kid clearly what happened so that the kid knows, yes, I am sad today because this is what happened. You can actually
Okay.
share your things also with children. You can start telling them, no, I am also sad. When I am sad, I will cry. Because the kid will think,
Mm.
okay, it is like normal. It's like my mama also cries. So I am also
So
crying. You start
emotional
telling them.
development is mostly learned through their parents, like and it's only through us. Like only
Definitely.
unless we express and tell them what we are feeling, they will also not feel very comfortable expressing
Yeah.
how they feel. That's very true. Yes, how can we develop
Yeah.
this? Make their emotional quotient stronger for the kids. Like the emotional. We have
Yeah.
to. We spoke about skill development, writing, reading, and all that. Now
Yes.
let's talk about emotional development of the kid. Yes.
Emotional development is that teach kids to explain how they are feeling that time. You can ask them, like, how are you now? How are you feeling now? Daily night, at least take some 5 minutes of your time just when the kid is lying in the bed, because that is the best time to catch our kids. They'll be like relaxed, they'll be calm, and we'll be just near to them. Parents will sleep with them. So we can ask them how you felt today. What happened? How you felt? Just they'll start expressing their emotions. That is the best time you can ask the kid what happened in the anything. Just don't always confine to what happened in the school. That is okay. That happens. But you can ask them what happened when you're playing with your friend's side today. What happened?
Yes.
Sometimes they come up with a fight to our home, and we say, okay, okay, it's okay, it's okay. But you can ask them. That time the kids are relaxed and they start sharing with us. We have to develop emotions. Main thing is that make them verbalize what it's actually happening. That way we can actually make our kids like understand, we understand them better only when we talk it out. So we can make them understand. Then if the kid is crying, don't try to use all your skills on that time. Don't go with your kid and say, come, yeah, yeah. The kid is not in the mood to hear. It's okay, let the kid cry. Maybe you can tell it's a calm place. You can just sit there for 10 minutes. You can just relax, let them calm out. Then you can talk with them. It's not the correct time when the kid is coming with full of tears, and maybe if there's some physical injury, that is a different thing. But sometimes if kid is like too frustrated or too irritated, that's okay. Give them a time for 10 minutes. Then you go near them, hug them, then talk. That is the
So,
best thing. That is the
is
best
it,
time.
so when we teach the kids to express, like, is it an easier way of controlling their tantrums? Like, are you saying the kids who learn to express will throw less tantrums, or is the throwing tantrums is their way of expressing?
Yeah, there are two things actually. They will start showing less tantrums. Tantrums, it is also like which age the kid expresses tantrum. Suppose if tantrum is expressed by a toddler, if the kid is 1.5 years and it throws all the beans or something, it's okay because the kid is only 1.5 years. So we can wait.
Okay.
We can probably distract the kid. That is very easy till 2 years. We can easily distract the kid. We can take them to a different place, to the play area, or take them to bath. So they will be okay. If the kid is still bigger kid and they are throwing tantrums, we have to understand as a parent why the kid is throwing tantrums. Why? Is there any specific issue the kid is throwing tantrums, or randomly for the toy which the kid saw in the shop?
Yes.
So we parents have to decide what for the kid is actually throwing tantrums. If
Okay.
it is like a real issue, like if they are actually stressed out or sometimes bullied in the school, many kids feel that bullied in the school,
Okay.
or they feel low, something. Other kids are doing this and I can't perform. If it is that way, then we have to take care of it. It is like we have to see the trigger of the tantrum.
Because
Then
he's
we can
upset
address it.
about, he upset emotionally. But when it comes
Yeah.
to throwing tantrum for a particular toy, like how to, this is a very important question. How do parents say
Yes.
no to a kid without leading it to a major disaster by the kid? They end up bursting and making they just don't listen. They cannot accept a no. So how do we get the kids to accept a no from parents? No
See,
means no.
one thing, one thing I want to say is like parents, as mother and father, they can actually decide on what things it's like a must know for the kid. Few things like we can accept. There are few things that, okay, if the kid exceeds 30 minutes of screen time, it's okay. For some parents, it's okay. So it is like, okay. Few things like it is solely decided by the kid. I can say like 3 zones. Red zone, no. It's a must. No is a no. In the red zone, whatever is there, both parents. I am on
Oh,
this issue mainly. Both parents should say no is a no. If it is in a red zone,
correct.
if what you think? If suppose a kid is like yelling at their grandparents, it's a no. Definitely no. So it's in a red zone. Maybe in the orange zone we can keep like activities like which the kid and we
So
together
that's
involved.
an important activity for the parents, so the red zone, orange zone, and
Yeah.
green zone. We have to mark that.
Yes. Yeah, it's like parents like we are concerned about our kids, so sometimes homework is for us. We have to see if it is in the orange zone, then decide like okay. But suppose you have said last time this is a no, next time the kid throws tantrum, be sturdy, say no is a no, that's all.
Oh,
That's all. You have to be, because the kid can understand. If I cry for 10 more minutes, my mama will come and buy the toy, my papa will come and buy the toy, or my grandpa
exactly.
will come and buy the toy. So
Oh
they
my God.
know when to cry, and when not. So it's upon us as a parent, we should decide which are all no, and we have to stand on them. I'm saying like for
We have to
little bigger
stand up
kids.
to our views, no matter how horribly the kid is going to behave. Okay, so
Yeah,
currently the parents are very concerned about the screen viewing time. That's
yeah,
becoming very difficult to control because the kids don't have anything else to do. They are
yeah,
like initially it used to be like 30 minutes to 1 hour a day or something, but now it's like gone beyond. Everything is visual, like you said, like everything has become
yeah.
visual. Apart from the online classes, we have a question also. So someone is asking, is it okay to again, continue online music, dance, and art classes for the children to keep them occupied because it's extending their screen time? Is it so?
It
How?
is like it is like based on one thing like the parents if you're like confining only to the online classes and the kid doesn't see anything else on the online, and again you want to join them in the online classes, it's okay. Online classes are different. It's not like the same YouTube, you're passive and you're just seeing. It is an active
Correct.
mode. Even if the kid
Correct.
doesn't answer, if it's a dance class or a music class, they have to do it. So don't
Correct.
consider that under the screen time. Don't
Okay.
consider it. It's okay.
That's a
It's
very
okay. It's a
important point
different.
because most of the time
Yeah.
currently the parents are most concerned
Yeah.
about the screen viewing time because they're worried about the stress on their eyes. And like we heard about this blue light filter
Yeah.
glasses. So how
Yeah.
useful is it for the kids to avoid the strain on their eyes? Now that
Uh,
you said it is okay for kids to have a lot of online
lot of
engaging, so will
yeah, lot of yeah. This blue glasses. It's like I also have heard of it. This blue
okay,
glasses. They are like actually useful for adults. For kids,
okay,
the point is that most of the time the kid doesn't wear it. They'll keep it
carrot,
aside. They don't wear
okay.
it. They don't like it. Already they don't like the online classes, and you're forcing them to sit before the laptop. And again, you're
Okay.
asking them to wear this blue glasses and take notes. It's very difficult. Please don't expect a 8-year or 10-year-old kid to do all these things and attend
Okay.
attend these classes online. So it is difficult. You can try it. You can try and use it. But the point is that online classes are different and the screen time is different. And
Correct.
as I say, it's all okay now because this is like very different situation and no one has expected this. We haven't
Correct.
expected this. So yeah, I usually say like don't say no to the kid, no screen time. Other than that, you can say, come, let's read a book together. We can play a family board game. All parents and grandparents or sometimes now friends have also started coming. It's not still in many apartments, they're not allowing it. So they can play a board game. They can sit together. They can play cards game or anything else. Don't say
Yes.
no. Allow them
Okay.
to be involved in other activities so that they will reduce
Correct.
screen time on their
So
own.
as long as the activities they're involved in is engaging, it is okay whether it is online or physical. Just let it be as long as they're engaged.
Yeah.
Don't let them get into a very passive mode, like staring at the screen
Yes.
for hours together without being active,
Yeah.
active
If,
physically.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely. If they're playing some games, if they're building a game, they're building some games on own. There are many games like kids build like Roblox games. They do their own activities in on the online medium. That's okay. Let
Correct.
them build. They are actually thinking on it. They're thinking how to do
Roblox
it.
is okay. So even today morning we had this discussion in the group that all the kids are glued to Roblox and it's getting annoying.
No, my kid is also interested in Roblox. That's why I took this thing.
understand the game actually, but once I see them, Minecraft is about architectural building. Okay, they are using their brain in some way to build something creative they are doing.
See, they
But
understand many things to games. They understand
correct.
many things. The games differ. It is not only physical games. Some of these online games, for the Minecraft game you mentioned, my kid was interested in Minecraft game, and I got a book for him about Minecraft, and he started reading the book. So it's a
See?
plus for me also. I want him to read a
Yeah.
book. So he's reading the
Reading.
book and he's playing the game.
That's
We have
very
to be
interesting
innovative
point.
ourselves.
Once an interest and get a book involving their interest. That's very interesting
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, if
Yes.
the kid is involved in dinosaurs, many kids like the dinosaurs. So buy them
Yes,
a book about dinosaurs and then introduce
Correct.
them to dinosaurs. It's
Find their
not that
interest.
book doesn't. Definitely
Don't
find their interest. Yeah,
correct.
don't push
We have a
them.
question.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just quickening up. I know it's a vast topic.
Yeah,
We have so many questions. We have a
Yeah.
my daughter is too playful and not interested in studies or any other activities. She just wants to play around with these online classes and virtual tests. It's very difficult to control her. Please suggest some method to make studies or any activities interesting. We have to do it with them.
Okay, what is the age of the kid? Sorry, I didn't get it. Have they mentioned it?
Sure, I'm assuming it's a kindergarten kid.
Kindergarten. Okay. See, I'll generally say like few activities for attention so that it can be
Okay.
useful for everybody.
Very
So I'll
important.
generally mention that. Yeah, small activities or tips for attention issues. If the kid is a small kid, less than 2 years, it is always like a joint attention. Kid,
Okay.
parent, or a caretaker, along with some toy or book is the attention. They
Okay.
can't be attentive on themselves.
All
till
by
2 years.
themselves. Correct.
All by themselves. They play. But suppose if they're playing with some toy and you're going near them and saying, it's an yellow toy, they will be sitting and staring it for more than 1 minute. Or else they'll just
The
drop it down
7
and then
years
they'll.
old, she said. The kid is 7 years old. Sorry.
Okay, the kid is 7 years old. So for 7-year-olds kids, I'll just finish off shortly for the 2 years age.
Okay.
Mostly you can use them and introduce them to the matching games, sorting out
Okay.
games. They are
Okay.
very good. You just have to
Yeah.
match them. You
Okay.
can just use their socks for them. Just put down all the socks. Anyways, we'll be having 7 to 8 pairs of socks.
Sort.
Just put them
Correct.
down. They can sort it. Then sorting, big things, small things. They're understanding everything through this matching and sorting games.
Correct.
For bigger kids, like for 7 years, you can say like you can keep some 5 toys, what they have. Just ask them to close their eyes. You can take off one toy and you can ask which toy is missing. It requires a lot of attention. They have to remember.
They have paid attention to what was the memory game is the
Yeah.
most
Memory game. Yeah, memory game.
popular
That is,
game to increase the
Yeah.
attention.
we can increase the number from 5 to 10 toys accordingly.
Correct.
So many attention games. You can actually move one toy, and for a little bigger kid, like 7 years kid, you can just move the dinosaur toy backside and just close it again. Which toy has been moved? They have to say.
Change the
Because
scene. Okay.
you're increasing the complexity. So it is like
Okay.
memory games are very useful. With the language also, if they're reading some book, you can just ask them how many sh sound was there on the page. Sh, sh.
Listening
How many
skills.
words? Listening skills. They understand that okay, there is something, and teach them self-correction. Self-correction is very, very important at this age.
Okay.
7 years old, if you're teaching any game or an activity or homework, just say that this is wrong. You need not say this is wrong also. Can you please check it again? Can you please see it again? Most of the times, kid will actually erase and write the spelling or whatever the activity has to be done
Yes,
because they
yes.
wouldn't have paid attention. So teach them they can correct themselves so that the kid feels like they feel empowered. Yeah, I know it. I only wrote my homework. They feel very great in achieving those small achievements. So these are all like for attention issues. There are like many activities to increase
I
attention.
know this
You
is
can,
a
yeah,
vast topic. It's very
it's a
difficult to
very
go
vast topic.
well beyond our
Yeah,
time limit, actually.
yeah. I
Uh,
think
so,
we have increased so much. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
so
So
guys, Dr. Gayatri has given us lots of very valuable points about our kids' learning techniques and how to improve their attention span and everything. The memory games are very useful. Sorting games are useful for the little ones. Personally, the memory game helped me as a kid. We used to do the cards game where we used to pair, we used to
yeah,
turn it all over, and we had to flip and see which cards match. That was a very interesting game that actually helped with my memory as well, my attention as well. It's a very these are like very interesting games, which increases parent children bonding also. Try it out. Gayatri runs a page called Flourishing Kids. Do have a look at her website for more tips, and do get in touch with her if you have any more questions. I'm sorry, we are running short of time. It's almost an hour. And thank you so much, Dr. Gayatri. It was wonderful. Like a lot of things, so many questions that were unanswered were like answered today. A child should be given time until he or she is 6 years before we actually start evaluating them, and the pre-primary pre-reading skills, the activities, the pre-writing activities, and a lot of tips. Like, please, moms, if you have missed the live, it's going to be there on the pink post. Do watch it again. It's a very useful video, live chat today, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of tips. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us and being with us today. I'm hoping we cover more such topics in future, because this is not it. There are so many things, so many questions we have actually. It was
yeah,
wonderful. Have another chat session with a different topic covered. You do have a lot of inputs to give. So thank you so much for being with us. And yes, apart from handling small kids, handling teens and their tantrums and their problems is a whole new topic. Of course, we'll come to that as a
yeah.
detail.
It's a very big topic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and on the way. So yes, we will be covering a lot of interesting topics. Do turn on the notification to see when we come on live again, and because all the topics that are covered on the live chat series are very informative, so we don't want the moms to miss this out. Please do watch it again, and do share it with moms who think will benefit from this. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Gayatri.
yeah,
It was wonderful having with you, and yes, we will see
yeah.
you soon again in a future session. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, Preeta. Thank you, Preeta, so much for inviting me. Thank you,
Yes,
Wonder Moms Group. And I'm also a mom, and I'm also a part of this group from long time. And I'm getting more and more information over from this group, actually. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, bye.
thank you. Yeah.